This is the true stories of Ugg and how the landscape was invented. Here we go. Now, as you know, guys, my great grandfather was the very first caveman on the face of the earth. He was the coolest, most sophisticated, most handsome, and most clever of all the cavemen, and his name was Ugg. Yeah, cool guy, and he was so smart. Oh my gosh, very handsome. He had a very big brain. And he invented everything in art because he wanted to impress his most beloved, Augustina. Woof! Oh, she was the most beautiful cave lady known to man. I'm just saying, she was beautiful because she was so beautiful because she had the most beautiful hair. I mean, she really did. It grew off of her knuckles like a waterfall, and she had the most beautiful hair that grew out of her ears like a fountain. Yeah. But mostly, Ugg thought she was so beautiful because she had hair that grew out of her nose all the way down to her toes. Oh, man. And also, she had tiny, itty-bitty, dainty, tiny little tiny feet. They were only the size of your dining room table. Only the size of your dining room table. And when she would laugh, that beautiful laugh of hers, she would flip her nose hair over her shoulder. Now, as you know, Ugg always had a standing date with his most beloved Augustina. Woof! And so she left her little cave and traveled to meet him at his cave so they could go on a date. And she put on her finest and traveled across hill and dale, the raging rivers and heavy forests to see her excellent friend and boyfriend, the smartest caveman in the land of Ugg, Ugg. In a queen of fashion she was. Oh, man, she was dressed to the nines, extra mud in her luxurious nose hair. And she put on her fancy high heels dino seashell shoes, and she looked fabulous. But as she was happily traveling up the side of Ugg Mountain, one of her beautiful seashell high heels fell all the way down the mountain and smashed at the bottom. Oh, dear! My fancy shoes go boom. Oh, no, she cried in her beautiful and very woeful voice. This is not good! Fashion is at stake, she said, and when she arrived at Ugg's lovely brand-new cave, it wasn't great. Oh, Ugg, she said in her most beautiful voice. Oh, Ugg! Oh, I can't possibly go to McDonald's wearing only one shoe. In the height of fashion. I'm going to have to get new shoes. And so she tells her most beloved, the most intelligent of all the cavemen, Ugg. That's right. That she'll need to travel to the Sea of Ugg and get a new set of seashell high heels before they can go out on their date. There's the Sea of Ugg. And so off she went, through hill and dale, through the forest of Ugg, the valleys of Ugg, to the Sea of Ugg. La 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 la, where she found the most beautiful seashells to adorn her tiny, beautiful feet. Oh, I'm so happy! I'm such a fashionista cave lady. But just when she thought all was well, she stepped into a giant mud pile and was stuck. Oh, dear! This is most certainly a blow to all things fashion. Now, in the meantime, Ugg was waiting at the back of his cave for his most beloved Augustina. And he had wondered where she had gone. Where did she go? She waited 1 day. He waited 2 days. That's right. He waited so long. He waited 3 days and arg! And on the third day, he looked out the cave door. He picked up a piece of burnt wood from the mighty big fire. And he began drawing on the cave wall what he saw through his cave door. First he drew a horizon line, and then he drew some of the trees that were on the, in the foreground, and he drew in the background Mount Ugmore, right? And he had the Sea of Ugg, and then he drew in the background, he drew the clouds, and then right there at the top, he saw there was something at the top. He said, "Oh, what is that? Is that a prehistoric mammoth?" But it wasn't. And then he saw it reappear at the bottom in the foreground. He said, "Oh, what is that? Prehistoric pig?" But no, it was not a prehistoric pig. It was his most beloved Augustina. "Oh!" And boom, 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 and the mountain started shaking. And he said, "Oh no, is that an earthquake in Ugg Valley?" But no, it was not an earthquake that was shaking Ugg's mountain. It was instead the tiny footsteps of his most beloved Augustina. She got to the top and said in her most beautiful voice, "Oh, Ugg! It is I, your cave lady girlfriend, Augustina." He said, "Me know where you be, my beloved." "Ah, where you be?" She said, "Oh, Ugg, my feet got trapped in the land, and I escaped the land." And then she looked at the wall and said, "Oh, Ugg, what is that on the wall? What is that most beautiful invention?" He exclaimed, "Me draw the land from where you escape, so me call it landscape." What a great invention it was. So you can imagine Augustina was very impressed, and they went on their date to McDonald's, had a McDonald's sandwich, ate a bag of fries, and a Big Rock milkshake. Yeah, and they were so happy. It was rainbows and love. Oh my gosh. And then they decided they would eventually get married, but not until they finished their education. So they got their degrees in Ugology from the University of Ugg, and then they got married and had 3 little Ugglings. And the firstborn was a boy, and his name was Uggo, and the second 2 were girls, and they were called Ugolina and Augustina Lena. And they were so cute because they look just like their mom. They had hair that grew out of their nose all the way down to their toes. And that is the true story of how a landscape was invented.